Jennifer Falloon gives busy professionals the opportunity to own real estate without being landlords. She rescues them from the volatile stock market and puts them on a smooth racetrack to consistent passive income, back solid end payouts, and significant tax breaks. Jennifer will teach you how to make your money work hard for you instead of you working hard for your money. I introduce you to Jennifer Falloon.
First of all, thank you, everybody who's attending. That is awesome. And I just wanted to talk today about how deceptively easy it is to become a millionaire. And it's my hope and desire that education like this will be passed down to not only your children, but your grandchildren to break any financial generational curses your family may have. And even if they don't have such curses, generational wealth can still be taught and passed down through the ages. This is not a get-rich-quick vehicle, but it is consistent and it is reliable. This is not gambling at the casino or throwing money into the lottery system. This is the exact vehicle my family has taken, so I know it works. But before we start, bless me just a few minutes to introduce myself and how we got where we are today. This is my family. I am Jennifer Falloon. First and foremost, I am a devout follower of Christ. I'm a loving wife of 14 years last week and a mother to 2 gorgeous men, stepmommy to 3, and Mimi to 6. And these are the faces of my ultimate why. These are the people that I most want to take care of in life. And these are the people that I fully expect to carry on the tradition of building generational wealth, so Borsa investments can continue on for generations to come. I was not born a millionaire. I didn't come from a trust fund, and neither did my husband. We were very middle class. I was probably actually lower middle class. And so, we didn't grow up with wealth. This is something that had to be self-taught. I am not a financial advisor, thank you, Jesus. I am not a CPA, but my husband is, and I'm not an attorney. What I am is someone that figured out exactly what I wanted in life, and I worked hard to get there, and I found the means to get us there through real estate investing. So my path is marked with such divinity from God that I know I am not only on my path of purpose, but I'm going to do great things in many communities. And so hopefully some of you in this room will join me on that path and enjoy it as much as I do. So our story begins in 2016 when my oldest son, Cameron, and I'll bounce back up here real quick. He's the handsome lad in the white shirt, and then on the bottom, part of my business. When he graduated high school in 2016, he was accepted into a special ops program with the United States Navy. However, 2 weeks before he was to start boot camp, his program was cut. Him and 1,200 other service people or potential service people, their program was cut. And it was too late in the recruitment process to give him another position worthy of his ASVAB scoring. He scored ridiculously high, and he refused to settle for less than what he knew he deserved. So he was then pronounced no longer property of the U.S. Navy, and for the next 2 years, Cameron struggled without fruition to get into any and every military branch he possibly could. But it was just one mishap, one unfortunate event, just one thing after another that would not allow him to, be accepted, or, his paperwork kept getting lost. We were very transient. It was just a nightmare. And so after 2 years of this mess, it left my son feeling very depressed and without purpose. And then came the very dreadful announcement that if in the next month he wasn't accepted into the military, he would be committing suicide. And so my oldest son is a very staunch, no-nonsense kid. He says exactly what he means, and he means exactly what he says. So this was not an emotional statement that was made. And this is something that was very thought out. And I realized how thought out it was when he had come to me and said, this is the things I want after my death. These are the things you need to do before I commit suicide. I need to make sure you have a life insurance plan. I need you to know that I don't want to be cremated. This is where I want to be buried. This was a lot of planning into this. And so talk about a mama hitting her knees in prayer. I could not pray hard enough to God to please save my son. And to me, it just seemed impossible. 2 years of fighting these military branches to get this kid in, I just didn't see it, right? And we don't, because God keeps secrets and we're not always to know what his plans are. So as if that wasn't traumatic enough, I'm working in a car dealership as a finance manager, and I had one of the most condescending, life-hating, managing bosses of my life. I hated this jerk face. And I have had some bad bosses, right? Like, I'm just not employable. But yeah, bad bosses, but this dude takes the cake. And we were just constantly at war. So while my husband is really wanting to get into real estate investing, this was really his passion to begin with. Wanted to attend a local real estate investment group in our city, and really wanted to learn about fix and flipping and holding rentals. And so he went to this meeting, fell in love with it, begged me to come to the next meeting, and I did. And at that meeting, they were offering a 3-day boot camp, all intensive, to learn everything there was to learn about real estate investing. So we bought 2 VIP tickets. And when I went to work to ask for that weekend off, it was denied by my boss. And so I was so angry and I was so frustrated. We spent, $1,000 on these tickets. Somebody was going to go. And so I got home that night and I told Cameron, you have to go to this event. And he said, it sounds awful, don't want to go. And I put my foot down, don't care. We spent this money, you're going. And let me tell you, it changed his life. He was blowing my phone up after the first night saying, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. This is my purpose. I don't even want to get into the military because it's going to set me back on helping people. And he was determined that our business was going to change the lives of those in need through real estate. And that is what we've done the last 5 years. So our millionaire mindset, when we first started out, we were still very trapped in middle-class mindset. I mean, that's what we grew up with. That's what our parents taught, and their parents taught them. And the parents before that probably grew up in a depression area where they probably didn't even have a middle-class mindset. They had a very poor mindset. And we realized if we were going to do better, we had to start thinking better. So we intentionally put ourselves in rooms with the best of the best gurus in our industry and made real lasting connections and friendships with them while mimicking everything they did and listening to, and then catch this, we implemented everything they told us. And when they saw how serious we were and how hard we were willing to work, the more willing they were to keep pouring into us. And so we also learned very early on that being a millionaire is not for everyone. And there were so many people that we really wanted to help and really kind of expected them to support us, and they didn't. They were perfectly happy working corporate jobs and service jobs and were blissfully happy hanging tight to their middle-class mindsets. But you know what? That's okay. In fact, it's amazing, because we as a healthy society have to have those people too. We can't all be the entrepreneurs. We can't all be the business owners. And so we had to have, the people that have no desire to become millionaires, we had to be okay with that. And we had to pick and choose some of these mindset shifts to So if being a millionaire isn't for you, please take these mindset shifts that I'm going to present to you. And if you don't want to be a millionaire, at least use them to retire comfortably or just go on an extra vacation. And so this is what we have learned from millionaires. And this is what we have implemented in our lives. Millionaires do not take advice from anyone that is not a millionaire. They are not taking advice from family, friends, and their grandma who is saying, don't invest in this and don't invest in that and don't take that risk. If they are not millionaires, they don't get to say. And they're probably not millionaires because they're not taking these risks. They don't feel the need to compete with their neighbors or care about what they think. This is so huge for the middle class. Again, we were the same. If our neighbors had a new car, we felt the need to get a new car. We felt the need to dress a certain way and show like, oh, look at this money that we're making. Millionaires don't care. They don't need to flaunt what they have. They don't need that validation. They know it's in their bank account and that's all that matters. If they have a financial advisor, and they probably don't, they are educated on where their funds are, and they know the financial advisor does not have their best interest in mind. This does not make me many friends. We had a financial advisor, and we thought our financial advisor had our best interest in mind. But at the end of the day, financial advisors work on commissions. So who are they most going to take care of? Themselves. And we were very uneducated about where our funds were. And so when we kind of started to learn about, being educated and where our funds were being invested in, when we sat with our financial advisor, we were horrified at the things that our money was supporting. And we just were absolutely adamant to put a stop to that. It was just disgusting to us. So that's when we pretty much shut down any investments we had in the stock market. But keep in mind, number one, don't take advice from a millionaire. Financial advisors are not millionaires. At best, a really good one is going to make about $150,000 a year. Do you really want to take your retirement advice from somebody that makes $150,000 a year? If they knew how to be millionaires in the stock market, there would be no such thing as financial advisors. They'd all be living their best lives on the beaches and the ski slopes and on vacations. So, but if you know a financial advisor, if you are a financial advisor, don't hate on me. I love working with financial advisors. There's a way for us to collaborate and win together. Number 4, they do not open traditional retirement accounts. If you have a job and they do a matching 401k, 100%, like keep that open. That's like free money. And I am not one to ever turn down free money. However, if you are opening an actual retirement account on your own as a solopreneur, do not do a traditional retirement account. Your best bet is to do what the millionaires do and open a self-directed account. In a self-directed account, you get to be in charge of where your investments are, and you get to negotiate and shop around for your best interest rates. Their money is never sitting idle or earning lower than average interest rates. You don't see millionaires with savings accounts. And if they do, it's just enough for an emergency fund. The bulk of their money is not in CDs, they're not in stocks, they're not in bonds, and they're certainly not in 0.1 interest earning savings accounts. They invest in themselves through education platforms, mentors, and books. And I know that when we were living our middle class, we were living our best lives in middle class America, we did not improve ourselves through education or mentors, and very rarely books. I love to read books, but I was reading fiction books, nothing that was going to move my needle. What was important to us is what was the next Netflix series we can binge. And, TV time was important. And so millionaires are not going to watch TV. In fact, we shut our TV down. We had it solely for my husband's a huge sports nut. So we did keep it long enough for that, but for 3 years, our TV was not turned on. We did not watch it. And now we kind of start dabbling in a little bit, but it's very limited and it's timed. But now all of our time, and we kind of took on the mantra, if you have time to watch TV, you have time to invest in yourself, you have time to read a book, and you have time to work. And so this is something that the millionaires will always do, and something that the middle class will not do. They're too tired and they're too hyper focused on staying middle class to, try to do better or want to do better. This is my favorite. They don't pay federal taxes. Nobody should be paying federal taxes. It's not un-American. If you want to feel patriotic, do something else with what you would, spend on your taxes, but nobody should be paying federal taxes. And they never blindly say no without proper research. They were always looking for the next opportunity. One of the first things we learned when we were getting into this, and we were so excited to share with our friends and our family, that they were very quick to say no. They didn't want to learn. Their minds weren't open at all to receiving what we were trying to educate them with. They just don't have time. They're just shut off, I feel like, from proper education and advancing themselves in any way. And so, but a millionaire is always looking for that next opportunity. They're at least going to hear you out. They love for new opportunities to present themselves, because that's just another avatar. It's just another way, another stream of income. And they are not afraid to take calculated risks. So when your financial advisor is saying, oh, real estate is so risky, when grandma's worried about you pulling your money out of the savings account to grow it, look.
No, you own it. Just own it.
You cannot be afraid. Like, take those calculated risks. So let's get to the real meat and potatoes of how we actually became millionaires. So like most real estate investors, we started out as fix and flippers, wholesaling and holding rentals. All great, but it takes a ton of work. And none of them ever seemed to be worth the work we put in. Like, they were great paychecks, but we just felt like we were getting ripped off. Then we learned about apartment investing. See that continuous education? And it seemed impossible, though, to own hundreds of doors of complexes. I mean, that's really that's like Robert Kiyosaki and Donald Trump and Jeff Bezos level, right? Like, we can't, every day, average Americans cannot own apartment complexes. And not only did we find that that was the furthest from the truth, it was so much easier than flipping houses. It blew our minds. So we were also very quick to catch on the money that was so life-changing that was made from these apartments. And I loved that I could change lives with these complexes. I could make a difference in other people's lives and where they live. So here is a list of things I love about owning apartments. Obviously, the cash flow. Every complex door we have makes money. The more doors we have, the more money there is to be made. So in 100 doors, if 1 or 2 are vacant, or heck, if even 10 are vacant, we are not in distress. It's not going to cripple us. And unlike single family, if you have a vacant house, that could be very crippling financially if you don't get somebody in that house quickly. And so again, the more doors you have, the more money you make. We have thousands of doors. Each door makes about $1,200, give or take, but that's about the average. That is a lot of money just coming in, and the checks are coming while we're sleeping. Control. I am a bit of a control freak, and this was very important to me. As an owner of an apartment complex, I get to decide how much rents go up. I get to decide how my tenants are treated. I get to make sure that the parking lots are well lit and safe. So when my elderly people come home late at night, or my single moms are dragging 2 babies in late at night, they feel safe. And that was so important to me, to make sure that all of my apartment complexes are affordable, they are safe, and they are clean. They are where families want to come home. The ability to force appreciation. Forced appreciation it's a strategy used in real estate to increase the value of an asset through deliberate actions taken by the owner. So we are making deliberate actions to rehab the interior, clean up the exterior, the parking lots, making sure these are pretty value-driven complexes. And so over time, as we do these values, we call them value adds, as we're doing these value adds, we're forcing that appreciation and that equity to grow into that complex rather than just letting it sit idle and let the equity increase naturally, which could be super slow. So acceleration also reduces the federal taxes. So remember, I hate paying federal taxes. This also helps reduce any tax gains. So freeing up our money for other acquisitions. The velocity of money. So apartment ownership has an economic value at local levels. And this is what I love. I love being able to employ local people to come in. And these are the people that are, fixing our roofs or putting in windows or paving our parking lot. They are fixing our HVACs. And these people in these service industries, they're not only giving back to the economy, right? These local economies are growing. We're providing jobs, but these are also our tenants. So we're making sure that people are working and able to afford living in our apartments. And then, of course, the tax advantages. I'll probably beat that poor horse to death. But I hate paying taxes, and I hope everybody hates paying taxes. They suck. And so the tax savings in owning an apartment is that you get a K-1, and it's just a code in the tax law book that says while the apartment complexes are real estate, they are always appreciating and earning value. The things like the roofs, the HVACs, and water heaters I was talking about, those are depreciating every day. And every year, everyone invested in the apartment complex gets the share in this appreciation through the K-1. So take that, Uncle Sam. And then, of course, the economy of scale. The more you own, the more you make. So here are a handful of the apartments that I own or I have ownership in. And is it a lot of work? It freaking absolutely is. And it is not for the faint of heart. So what if you want the benefits of becoming a millionaire without all the work? Well, that's where I come in with Force Investments. We literally give busy professionals that don't have time to do the work of running an apartment complex, much less several of them, the opportunity to become millionaires, or at the very least, retire comfortably or go on an extra vacation. But we're able to do this through the consistent passive income and large back-end payouts. We do all the heavy lifting while our investors get to sit back and collect their checks. And it's a win-win for all of us. And I love to run my business as a win-win. It's so important to me that everybody gets to join in, everybody gets a piece of the pie, everybody gets to win. So, but what if you don't have the money to come in as an investor? No worries, because we have you covered too. There are several ways to have ownership in an apartment complex without coming up with any of your own money. And the first is to actually bring the deal. You can make friends with commercial brokers, strike a deal with them, get on their, we call it pocket listings, get on their pocket listings, have them send you the good stuff before it hits the market. You can reach out to apartment complex owners yourself, go in your neighborhood, especially smaller ones, ask who the owner is. And a lot of times the person in the office is the owner. Ask if they'd be willing to sell. Strike up that deal with them, present us the deal, and voila, you have ownership in this apartment complex for bringing the deal. And the second is to underwrite. This is something I hate with all my heart. I know how to do it, but I hate it. I am not the numbers person. So if you love numbers and you love spreadsheets and have extra time on your hands, we will teach you how to underwrite and you can have a piece of the deal. And thirdly is to bring the money. We love referrals. And if you can introduce us to people that have money, that people that, want to own apartments without being landlords, people that want out of the stock market, please introduce them to us. And then you can come in with ownership as somebody that brought the money. Now, when you're coming in as this particular part of the ownership, you're a general partner, and as opposed to a limited partner, which are the passive investors. So as a general partner, there are additional jobs that we would ask you to do per SEC guidelines, but it doesn't have to be intensive, time consuming, or scary. Super easy, and you can pretty much pick and choose what it is you want to do or don't want to do. So at Vorson Investments, we live our core values in and outside of our business. Trust, integrity, honesty, and freedom is what we want to not only give our investors, our management companies, and tenants, we want from them. And this is absolutely what we will live and die by. So who is a good fit for investing with Vorson Investments? Well, basically anyone with a retirement account. So if you or anyone you know left in the case sitting there, probably losing money right now in the stock market, get that rolled over as a non-taxable event into a self-directed retirement account. Use that money and grow it. Anyone with cash in a coffee can, look, that is not going to serve you. Even if you have money under the mattress in a savings account, none of that is serving you and you are not going to get anywhere with it. Get it out of that coffee can, get it in a self-directed retirement account, and get it working. Anyone who wants to retire, there are a lot of people that, we don't want to work forever. I don't want to work forever. And I do want to retire, but I want to retire comfortably. I don't want to be at McDonald's after I retire, or Lowe's or Walmart. And I want to be on a beach, honestly. So I want to make sure that my retirement money is, locked up, that I have enough passive income coming in every year that I don't have to worry about it. And I certainly won't live in poverty, as 27% of our retired Americans do. Anyone who wants to diversify their portfolio or get out of the roller coaster stock market completely, this is for you. So even if you have crypto, or you're in foreign currency, art, antiques, 90% of not just Americans, but people worldwide, of those millionaires, 90% of the millionaires worldwide are millionaires because they have real estate in their portfolios. Be like them. Have some real estate in your portfolio. Anyone who wants passive income. Okay, you don't want to be a millionaire. That's cool. You want to work until you die because you're afraid you'll be bored. Hey, that's cool too. But at least get the passive income to give to charity, if nothing else. Go on extra vacations, put your kids through college. There are a million things I could do, or I could even think of about what I would do with just extra passive income. And anyone who wants to profit 100% off their retirement funds without paying commissions. Again, when you are in the stock market, 100% of the funds that you have invested are not yours. You are paying commissions, and probably to multiple advisors that pass your investment funds down. So whatever you think you're making in the stock market is not 100% yours. When you invest in Vorson Investments, 100% of the money is yours. We don't take what rightfully belongs to you. So, does it work? Here's the magic. An investor puts in $50,000 for a 5-year investment term. At a 6% annual rate of return, the investor makes about $3,000 a year, $15,000 over the 5-year hold. Getting your yearly K1 offsets most of it, so you're not, if not all of it, so you're not paying taxes on those profits. It's pretty much 100% yours. At the end of the 5-year cycle, the investor gets their initial investment of $50,000 back, plus 30% of the back end bonus from the sale of the property, totaling another $15,000. So the total made from this 5-year investment minus your initial investment is $30,000. So you roll investment of $50,000 back over along with your back end bonus at least. But if you've been saving your quarterly payouts, you can add that too. But the minimum of that is $65,000, the maximum $80,000. Continue to reinvest the initial investment plus your back end payouts, and the money continues to compound. And then the beautiful thing is we don't hold our apartments the year kind of very conservative. We are very conservative in our underwriting. We are in everything we do. So have a 5-year plan, but I have never seen any of my apartments through to a 5-year plan. So a lot of times we are hitting these metrics in year 3. And again, these are very conservative numbers. So it's very likely that these numbers are, a little low, but these are not guaranteed results. These numbers are for presentation purposes only and from back deals that we have done. And I'm happy to share those back deals to see, exactly what people made. But for the integrity of this presentation, it was just presentation purposes only. The amounts can fluctuate dependent on the investment amounts you put in, as well as the performance of the property. The back end payout could pay out significantly more. I have to say, or less, but it hasn't been less. And if entering into a syndication, please read and understand fully the private memorandum, which you would get before your investment is made. And so if you came on board with us, who are you working with? Who are we? I introduced myself. So please let me introduce my fabulous husband who made all this possible. Eric is a CPA and was a comptroller for car dealerships around the US for over 25 years. He recently just left the auto dealership and went to work as the CFO of one of our partner companies that do what we do. And so Eric is really the foundation of our business. He is our numbers guy. He is the left brain. And he not only makes sure that we're taking down solid cash flowing deals, but he's routinely monitoring them to make sure they stay that way. And then my gorgeous son, little biased, Cameron, he is really our jack of all trades. He is like the best business partner for me, and we complement each other so well. He is out there raising money. He's at networking events. He's a significant part of our due diligence team. This kid has a ridiculous keen eye for structure and things like the HVACs and, being able to tell just by looking at them how old they are, but fantastic on our due diligence team. And he's always in active communication with our current investors as well as all of our potential investors. Okay, look, can we please give a hand for how gorgeous this PowerPoint is? I did not do this PowerPoint. I put in the wording, but this was built by this beautiful Tiffany Shanley. She is our everything. She keeps our lives neat and tidy. She does all of my marketing. She really just runs my life, and I could never pay her enough for all that she does. And I'm glad that she hasn't asked for a raise. But she also makes all of our swags. If you ever see, Vorsa t-shirts, visors, keychains, she's making all of that. She does our Facebook ads, all of our advertising, all my social media posts. If you see those, very rarely are they from me. She answers our emails, books my calls, works our CRM. She is perfect at all of it, and I would be lost and doomed without her. So here are all the ways that you can get a hold of me if investing in apartments is something you'd be interested in or know someone who would be interested in. Again, we love those referrals. This is how we've been able to become millionaires and not only build the life of our dreams on our terms, but help hundreds of families live comfortably, safely, and I just love what I do. Just a quick story about how much I love what I do and getting that to be in control. When we took over one of our properties, there was a man, older, but very much like on the spectrum. But he worked and was very kind. And when we were taking this over, the managers that were in this were telling me about him, and they said, you know, he always pays before the end of the month, but he never pays on the first. Like, he will make weekly payments, but he works really hard and he feels like he's a burden. So he will literally walk around the complex and like pick up the trash, and he'll help the elderly clients. There's a pocket of one of our complexes that was assisted living at one time, and so it's a lot of elderly. And he will wait for them to come home and help them like carry in their groceries. And it was just their fear that his rent was going to be raised, where he wouldn't be able to live somewhere, you know, that took care of him. And so I said, when we took this over, his rent is to never go up. It's never to be mentioned to any of the other tenants, but as long as he lives in our complex, his rent never goes up. And that's just something I love to do, and part of my give back to my tenants. And so as we continue to grow, so does my need to give back. And I'm really feeling bigger things coming that are more on doing God's work, right? So in the next couple years, hopefully sooner if God allows, we really want to open apartment complexes around the nation solely dedicated to children who have aged out of foster care before they've had the chance to even finish high school. Foster children have already been given such a hard deck to play, and as a society, we're making it harder for them by denying them living conditions to even finish high school. So these apartments would give them a 2 years to like get a degree. I know you can get an associate's degree in 2 years. I'm not sure about trade school, but I feel like you could get pretty far in a trade school in 2 years, if not finished. Or if they're just not interested in working or able to work, it gives them a solid 2 years to just work if they're not able to go to school, to just work and bank that money so that when their 2 years is up, they're able to leave without financial strain. So I would also like to provide them counseling as well as financial literacy like this, so they too can break the generational curses. The bad deck they were dealt can end with them for good. So if I may give an ask from anyone watching, if you have any information or an introduction to anyone that would have a nonprofit or know how to start a nonprofit, TI is doing this. Look, if you all have a connection to TI, I need him, right? To like connect me. But I imagine this to be a nonprofit organization. So, you know, I feel like that's the first logical step. But if anyone has ties to the foster care systems, it doesn't matter where, as this truly needs to be, it really needs to be a nationwide program. So I'd like to see this in all the states. So thank you very much. And I will stop there.